Sony killed Helldivers 2. Helldivers 2 devs panic. How Helldivers 2 lost 90% of its players. Yes, one of the best live service games, Helldivers 2, apparently has lost 90% of its player base. Will this impact Helldivers 2 in the long run? I don't think so.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
This will be explained. Don't get me wrong, the chart speaks for itself. It speaks 1,000 words, but it's not the end at all. With every sunset, there is a sunrise. So stay tuned, guys, because we're going to find out why this is happening in this video. So prepare, guys. There is a lot to be said here. So grab some liberty, because you can't obviously watch a video without some liberty, especially a Helldivers 2 video. Now let's get started and down to the facts. First thing we're going to talk about is the impact of influencers. Now the topic of this conversation is everywhere at the moment, all over YouTube. Helldivers 2 is losing its player base. Is it slowly collapsing? Blah, 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 blah. You know, seeing everybody jumping on the trend, you know, for views, you know, for that lovely, jubbly views. That's what it's all about for these big YouTubers who don't actually really play Helldivers 2 and they don't really know what they're talking about. Let me just tell you this one thing before we actually drill into this. All of these people doing videos on this game are outsiders. People come and go for views, and at the moment that's what this simply is. People see a decline all of a sudden, which happens with games, and you know, they jump on the trend and yeah, create videos about it.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the f is that?
Whereas people like me and you are dedicated to Helldivers since day one. We know how strong the community and this game is. The dedication from Twinbeard, one of the community managers, and I think the only community manager other than Baskinator who's actually really been so dedicated to its community. And with all this going on, you know, all this shenanigans, me and you are still here. You know, we're back in Helldivers 2 100%. It doesn't mean we're going to ignore the facts, because facts are there for a reason. You know, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Compared to all these other so-called Helldivers who are only here for the content, as much as I like this guy, Asmongold TV, he says some good points in his video regarding this topic, but he pretty much has said he was not really optimistic about this game to begin with. So yeah, why? There are so many people giving their opinion on this game who actually barely play it, literally. So it goes to show there's a lot of content creators who don't actually understand fully, like us Helldivers do, you know, us Helldivers. One thing I want to say is these people have a major impact across the internet with their audience and can either make or break a game. So shining negative light on Helldivers 2, a small studio, can have a major, major impact. And you know what? I don't really think they deserve this much hate, since they've been so good to the community up until this point. Now let's start with the beginning, rewinding back when this game first came out. Now this will happen with every game that's hyped up. Obviously people come and go, they play, they rotate games and repeat. It's a cycle that just happens within game, and you know, we've all been there. We play a game that's been hyped up for a little while, and then obviously we go and move on to something else, and then we come back when there's new content. That's just how it is, especially if a game gets repetitive. And I will say this, Helldivers 2 did a good job to start with for a long time, introducing content to keep people captivated, which obviously, even though they did an amazing job, they certainly could not keep up with the pace. I mean, of course, they said they wanted to slow down their cadence because they clearly just could not keep up. One second. Liberty. You guys know me, you know, I love this game so much. I back Helldivers 2 100% since day one, but it does not take away the facts of all of the issues it has had leading up till this point. Which leads me to the first fact, which is the Sony controversy. You know, good old Sony. Helldivers 2 represented a pretty big deal for Sony and PlayStation. I do think the Sony issue had a detrimental effect for many players, especially since many players could not play a game they bought.
Sorry.
Actually, for once in gaming, people got what was advertised and, well, was happy, you know, plain and simple happy. They got a product that was advertised to them in every single way. And for a live service game, that's actually pretty impressive. Considering Fallout 76, for example, another live service game that flopped in the very beginning, very early on. There was also tons of issues with events, with mission bugs, but you have to give it to Arrowhead. they have came back fighting and really have been so good with the community up until this point. So yeah, some may say they are a bit lackluster sometimes though, but then you fast forward to now and you find out that the cadence that they said they were slowing down on didn't really work out to be that well anyway, because the patches they're releasing keeps obviously breaking the game in some way. It's missions, bugs arising, performance issues, and at the same time that pace they had to begin with they aren't getting now obviously, so people are becoming more disinterested. But regardless of all of this, Helldivers 2 have been very transparent and dedicated. Look at Call of Duty, Ubisoft and all these big game developers. You don't find that same commitment is what I'm trying to say. So if you compile literally everything that's happened with Sony, you know, everything that's happened in Discord with obviously the supposedly wokeness and obviously all the other shenanigans that's happened since the recent time, then you can kind of understand why this has obviously suddenly happened.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you,
We don't care.
But don't worry guys, they will pick things up, okay? They will pick things up for democracy. I mean, I believe in them, you believe in them if you're obviously watching this video, and I mean obviously I've got to import my liberty somehow, you know, for these videos, so Helldivers 2's got to do their thing, otherwise no more liberty, you know, no more of the nice cup of liberty that I'm drinking right now. Now the sensitive topic, the wokeness.
Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.
This is related to the Helldivers 2 Discord being very left in terms of politics, and they were pretty much banning any players in their Discord who did not agree with them. This is plain and simple guys why politics should not enter gaming. Keep it aside for the real world. It just ruins the experience and divides people. Yeah, politics always ends up in the conversation of gaming, unfortunately, especially since everything is being shoved down gamers' throats nowadays.
do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man.
I remember the early days when we did not have this issue in gaming, but in 2024, it seems everyone's political views has to be shoved down your throat 24/7. Many of us play games to escape the reality of the real world drama, not have it forced upon us in our favourite games like Call of Duty, Apex and many others. Helldivers 2 Discord though effectively has become an echo chamber that only promotes left-leaning liberal politics. Regardless of anyone's views though, we can all agree politics should stay away from gaming. It just divides people, as I said. Divides and divides. I mean, where's the democracy in that? You know, bringing division, where is the democracy in that? What I find really ironic though is Helldivers 2 did say they won't, okay, I quote, won't involve any of this in their game because it could cause more problems, and it's already pretty much shown in their Discord, which it don't matter your political views, gaming does not need this. However, it does show the irony since their views clearly indicate they are totally on board and open to it all. But the reason, okay, the reason they have not implemented it is, well, simply players aren't inclined that way, the mass majority I mean. One thing I like in this game though is the fact it does not have all of that. It's Helldivers, plain and simple, Helldivers. Now I do want to take a look at this guy because he does make some valid points, but this is one thing he said.
I think that a lot of people were way too optimistic about this game whenever it came out. Like, I remember whenever it came out, I was never like super appealed. Like, it was not like super appealing to me. I like the game, like, don't get me wrong, I like the game, but like I couldn't really see this game having like any sort of like real long-term success.
You serious?
It just goes to show some of these big curators have not been with this game all the way. By all means, I like this guy, but come on. Most of these videos are literally for views. They are literally for plain and simple for views. Grim Reaper says, Asmongold and others spread so much misinformation regarding this game. If you're a part of the Discord, you could always tell when this clown released a video because his unhinged fans would brigade the Discord just to parrot whatever talking points he fed them. Imagine being told what to do by a millionaire who chooses to live surrounded by filth and cockroaches. These content creators only care about clicks and most of their comment is rage bait for views. Rant over. Well, not yet, but back on topic. Don't forget your liberty, okay? Don't forget your liberty. Moving on to repetitiveness. People are getting bored. I mean, if you like horde shooters like me, you won't care about the repetitiveness. That's what the game is. And it's bound to get boring for a lot of people who don't like those type of games, who need that kick in content to keep them going, basically. You know, like the drug addicts who need their next hit. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
Till it's cool, just cool, into the mouth. Nice.
And we've all been there because, you know, we play games so much it gets boring, and then, you know, you leave, and then once they come out with some more, you know, great content, you're like, oh, okay, I'll come back, play some more, and, you know, the loop continues. Thing is, where I believe Arrowhead have gone wrong is they pumped out too much content to begin with, and now people pretty much expect that. They've just slowed down so much that people have become disinterested because they're not getting that flow of content like there was to begin with. Starship Troopers, that relates to this in some sort of way, okay? So stay with me because it's got some sort of relation. One thing I will say is I believe the Starship Troopers game may have impacted Helldivers 2 dramatically. That's releasing soon, obviously, and that's pretty much the core of why Helldivers 2 exists. There is nothing like Helldivers 2, nothing on Earth, you know, Super Earth.
Become part of an elite peacekeeping force!
And even though Starship Troopers and Helldivers 2 have a lot of resemblance, you know, they are still quite different in a lot of ways. Now we're going to talk about live service games, okay? A live service game is kind of made to sustain a certain number of players, and I think that's what people are calling this out for. I mean, it's not stopping me, you know, conquering the galaxy for democracy, for liberty, you know, liberty that I just literally spilled everywhere. Destiny 2 is a great example. I don't play it anymore, but that was a very successful live service game, and there aren't many out there like that. Fallout 76 has bumped up its players now, so that game has done a U-turn pretty much. So Helldivers 2, for being a live service game, has done a great job compared to the mass majority that have released over the recent years. Now we're talking about updates, so that's what determines, I think, if a game is going to be successful in the long run. As I said, the latest expansion for Fallout 76 and Destiny 2 have really brought back a ton of players, and if you can't keep the content coming, that's what will kill a game. When the Illuminate come, that will keep a lot of players playing for many months, and I think maybe that will give Arrowhead some time to rethink their plan to smash out as much content as possible. That's just my overall thoughts right now. What's yours? Do you think this is going to be a good thing and will push Helldivers 2 in the right direction, or do you think this is going to have a dramatic effect in the long run and people are just going to keep leaving? It is routinely outside of the top 10 list and is hashtag 58 in top sellers on the service. The most viewed Twitch stream of the game at this moment has 56 viewers. Players most recently have been complaining that high levels were too punishing to be fun, but after a large scale buff patch, it barely moved the needle. Looking at the numbers, there has been no significant surge other than a brief spike when a mass automaton invasion happened, but interest fell sharply after a week, and since then the game has continued to shed players quickly. This is from Facebook. The community cries out for new content in the wake of Arrowhead's vacation announcements. Someone has to say it. I feel like we need content. No, not a new war bond, and no, not a new stratagem. I'm talking about new faction or new biomes. Add more player progression or customization, anything that will get people back to this game. I played the hell out of this game when it first released and had a blast. But after a while it got very stale. I didn't feel any compelling reason to continue playing. I understand Arrowhead wasn't expecting the game to be as big as it was at launch. I know they're still a fairly small studio, but at this point, now I do agree with you though, it does need more juice, because when juice runs out, you know what happens, you know, so I do agree with you on that part. Now this guy makes a very good point. I won't read all of it, but he literally hits the nail on the head with this one. No, Helldivers is not a dead game. What you are reading lately in this Facebook group and cinema ones are classic nonsense spun by paid bots whose primary task is to tarnish the game and reduce the number of players at all costs. Who has an interest in this happening? Competitors who have invested enormous sums of money into creating their games but have not achieved nearly the success that Helldivers 2 has with much less investment. Influencers. Some influencers are simply paid to bash Helldivers 2, while others just follow trends and spin stories solely for clicks and visits. It all revolves around money. There are simply some players who cannot be satisfied and who are honestly do not like Helldivers 2. They are here just because of the hype. These players buy the game because it's trendy, not because they like it, and they always want to turn it into something it's not. Such players want to turn the game into a mess or something similar to the mess they played before Helldivers. No change can satisfy these players. They always find fault and are simply haters. When the hype is that the game is good, they hype it up as good. When the hype is that the game is bad, they hype it up as bad. These are the hype riders. To sum this up, the truth. The game is not dying, okay? It's far from dying. Gamers come, they go, trends come, they die out, and then they come back. It's just Helldivers 2 sustained players for a long period of time and prevented this from happening too soon. And that's what it's down to, simply just lack of content. Plain and simple, lack of content. It's probably going to be a rough road until Arrowhead shoots more content out. So yeah, that's the truth, plain and simple. The game is not dying, it just needs more content for people to come back. So if you like this video, guys, be sure to subscribe and I will shoot more out like this. It was a longer video than normal, but I wanted to cover literally everything in detail. So until next time, go and conquer the galaxy for democracy, and I will see you in the next one. Unless you don't play this anymore, then yeah, go and bum Destiny or something, I don't know. Just go and play something else. So yeah, you go and play Destiny if you play Destiny, if that's your thing. Destiny.